guys, Polly Gent here with Magnolia Premier Properties at Teamwork Realty. And the number one conversation I'm having right now with buyers and sellers are, Polly, we can't do anything right now. The interest rates are too high. It's scary. We're going to wait for the market to come down. We're going to wait. And the only way to address that is head on. And the best way to address it head on is with a lender who is phenomenal. She's never gotten us out of a scenario with a buyer or a seller that she couldn't talk her way through. And this is Ashley Rawlings with Atlantic Coast Mortgage, and she's going to talk with us about why now is the right time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it. I too get this question almost on the daily now of when is the right time to buy? Should I buy now? Why shouldn't I just wait another year? When it comes to the right time to buy, though, there is no perfect time to buy. Just like anything else we go through in our life, there's no perfect time for a lot of really large decisions. It's more of what's your time.
Okay.
When is your time to buy? Great examples are if you're renting a home from a landlord, it's always your time to buy.
Now's the time.
At any moment, they could sell that home and you now have to go somewhere else.
Sure.
If you're living in an apartment or a townhouse, a lot of times it's when is the right time to buy? Well, if your rent just got increased by $800 a year, it's your time to buy.
Right.
It's a matter for the financial security. What are you looking for financial security? Are you okay paying someone else's mortgage or paying rent? If not, then it's always going to be your time to buy.
Okay.
I remind everyone, a home is always an asset. It's the biggest piece of a financial portfolio you're likely to have in your entire life.
Sure.
And with that comes a lot of extra benefits that I think, especially if rates have gone up, people kind of forget about. The fact that you are building equity every single month in this property that you can then use later. If you want to redo the home and it doesn't look quite the way you want, you've got the equity to do that in the future. If you need to pay off medical bills, student loans, a surgery, you want to pay off your car, you can pull your equity out on a cash out refinance and do those things in the future. With renting, it's literally only what you have in your savings account.
Okay.
That is your entire portfolio then.
Right.
So there's always that extra benefit on the financial side. For a lot of people, it's the comfort and security. Do you like where you're living right now? Do you love your neighbors?
Right. Okay.
Are you in a space that's too small for you and your kids? Then it's your time to buy.
Absolutely.
You can't sit around though and wait for the most advantageous time to buy. That's a very different conversation. And that's no telling when that's going to be.
Okay.
The last 2 years, rates have been low. They've been historically low. They were lower than we've seen in the last 20 years even. We don't want them to go back to that point though, because it was a negative economy we were in.
Okay.
We were not in a good space economically. It affected many, many things. A lot of people are also talking about inflation right now. Part of that is coming back out of that negative space in the economy. When the rates go really low like that, it means we're not doing good as a country. And what ends up happening is everyone tries to buy at the same time. It creates an over-competitive market where people pay more than they necessarily should have to for something. It's extremely difficult to get offers accepted because there are so many more people trying to buy. I mean, in the past 2 years, we've seen 50 offers on homes where normally you'd be competing against maybe 5 other people. So the people who a lot of people assumed bought in the last 2 years, many of them actually didn't because they couldn't win offers. It was too competitive. And then the housing prices went up substantially due to those rates being so low because people were willing to pay a lot more for it. So for the people that tell me like, oh, I'm going to wait till the rates go back down, waiting till the rates go back down will end up being more expensive. It will be more hurtful because the prices will go up much faster than they should historically. And you're going to be in a really competitive market again, where you may now spend 9 months just trying to get any offer accepted. And so you have to be super fast in those markets. You don't even get a chance to go home and talk about the house.
Right.
And if you love it, you don't get to do the HGTV, go sit in a coffee shop moment. You get none of that.
No, it's very instantaneous.
Yeah. So this market is actually easier for buyers to purchase within because it's less competitive right now.
Right.
You can go look at a home. You can go home and think about it overnight if you need to. You can talk about what you really want to offer. You can ask for seller credits again. Those are starting to come back.
Yes.
So while you may have a higher interest rate, your closing costs may be a little bit lower right now because you may actually get a seller credit. We've been seeing offers coming in that are slightly below asking price, which again is more money back in everybody's pocket. So for buyers, it can be an advantageous time to buy if you want to look at the other factors besides just an interest rate.
Okay. One of the things I'm hearing a lot about, and you and I have talked a lot about it, is buyers having the option of a 2-1 buy down. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, so 2-1 buy down has actually been around for a long time, but it comes back typically when we see a change in rates. So 2-1 buy down is where the sellers can offer a seller credit. It is specific to the property amount and everything, but they offer a seller credit. And what that gets them is a 2% lower interest rate than what they locked in for the first year, and a 1% lower for the second year, and then back to its full rate in the third year.
Okay.
So if they locked at a 7%, year 1, they're getting a 5%, year 2, they're getting a 6%, and then up to 7% in year 3. That saves them every single month for those first 2 years.
2 years.
And then you still have the option to refinance,
Okay.
which is the big piece when we keep hearing these fun sayings out there in the market about rates.
Yeah.
You always will have the option to refinance if rates go back down.
Good.
And almost, you think about it, anyone who owned a home prior to 2020 probably refinanced in the
Yep.
last 2 years. So those
Absolutely.
opportunities will come back around
Okay.
to get back down to a lower interest rate that you want, or again, to pull the equity out. But the 2-1 buy down is something that definitely can help the buyers ease back into buying and feel more comfortable, which is good for the sellers too. A lot of these things also help the sellers, because sellers are obviously concerned of, will I have enough buyers? Is it worth putting my home on the market? Will I get what it's worth? We're definitely still seeing plenty of buyer activity. Sellers should not be worried about not getting offers on their homes.
Good.
It's just realistic offers are happening right now.
We're getting back to the normalized market.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So again, it's understanding that we're in kind of a shock culture right now, but we are getting back to a normal time frame where rates were 8, 9, 10%.
Yeah.
That was normal. It
Yep.
always will be normal. I think most of us actually, instead of wanting people to wait and wondering what's going to go on with rates, we're just hoping things stabilize out. I think
Yes.
once we get to a place where the rates plateau, and then pricing will normalize itself back as well. And we are starting to see smaller shifts in rates from week to week over the last 3 weeks specifically. If you're watching the news, you have to keep in mind that it's always 30 days behind. So the news is always late. So
Okay.
you can't really, you got to talk to a lender or a realtor directly to
You
find
got to
that
talk to
out.
Ashley.
You got to talk to me. But we are starting to see a slower increase in rates over
Good.
the last 3 weeks, which is a good sign. So
What's today's rate?
7.35 on
7.35.
average for 20% down, around 750 to 800 credit.
Okay. If anybody watching this needs to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
My cell phone,
Yes.
which we can post for you
Yes.
guys on the video. My cell
Great.
phone's the easiest way. It's always my cell phone. Email, or we have our application link where
Okay.
it has that you can reach out to me directly. I have tons of social media. You can find me on social media. DM me, slide in my DMs. I don't care.
I can't thank you enough.
Oh,
This
yeah,
was
thanks for
highly
having me.
informative.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, call us, reach out, and we'll be here for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.